Hey, 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 how's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday to you. Um, Let me I always forget to turn my volume up. Although I probably shouldn't because as I get going, I get louder. So let me temper that down. I was about to hit 100, but I'm gonna bring that back down. Um, but I hope you guys are feeling wonderful today. Um, just in case you are catching this live or if you're catching the replay, you already know, drop in the comments. Let me know you're here. Um, I'll be in full transparency. I was like, "Ugh, am I gonna go live today? Because I like to schedule and have invite folks to the live, schedule it. I use StreamYard, schedule it on LinkedIn, invite folks as I stream to LinkedIn, YouTube, and my Facebook page. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna you know do all the stuff. And then yesterday was just one of those days where I was really trying to work on something and get it done, and I was like, I just didn't have the time to schedule. Good morning, Toy. How you doing? Um, and so I was like, oh, am I going to go live because I didn't schedule it? Is anybody gonna show up? All the things. And I said, listen, Anna, you told yourself that you were gonna go live every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern time, and just share with the good people. So it doesn't always come together, it doesn't always happen. Life is forever, for sure, going to happen. And sometimes you just got to roll with it, right? Sometimes you got to do the things that you need to do, even if you don't feel like doing them. Okay. But I wanted to just share that word. Hopefully, it is encouraging to someone. Thank you, Toy. Toy said, yes, you are doing it. Thank you. Okay. We are here this morning. And we're going to talk about bold style and why it matters. Um, and I definitely even want to just like start our conversation by sharing a little story time with Nana. Um, this is taking it back, like, gosh, good morning, Chandra. We're just doing a little story time right now. So this is taking it back to early 2000s. I was living in DC. I was working for a large IT company. I was working for IBM. You know how sometimes when people start telling their stories, like they don't want to tell the names or drop the whatevers. Whatever, doesn't matter. So I was working at IBM. I was a management consultant. Um, and I just had that vision of being that Black, powerful woman executive, corner office, walking in high heels through the airport, on the phone, on the laptop, just living all the dreams. Okay. That's what I had envisioned for myself. And so, it was my first job out of college. So, of course, I wanted to make a great first impression. I wanted to do well. So, for one of my first projects, um, I was on site for the Department of Defense, actually. So, a lot of our clients were government agencies, DC, you get the connection. And I was young. I was a junior consultant, so to speak, right? And so I'm new on the scene. And even at that time, y'all see my style now. My style then was not what it is fully evolved now. I am trying to find some pictures because during that time of life, like phone pictures, that wasn't really a big thing, right? But I am trying to retrieve some pictures so that I can add them to this story so y'all can see what was going on with my style back then. But in any event, I was just kind of coming into my own in terms of being more daring and a little more unapologetic about how I showed up. And so you would catch me in a head wrap every now and then. You definitely would catch me with some jewelry on, like I might be like, oh, I'm going to wear a green suit to work, or oh, I'm gonna wear pink pants and like a print blouse, right? Like so the color infusion, like the African print and cultural infusion, that was really always at the core of my style. So, so I was showing up just like that, right? Look, I would have been on something just like this, showing up to the office, right? So here I am walking into the spaces. They are mostly white, and one of my teammates was another white male, and our client who worked on the DoD was, I'm not sure, she was a woman. The distinction of the white male is important in terms of that right now, as the story evolves. But our client was a woman. She was a little older, and we were both teaming together to support her and her team on some initiatives. So they're like, "Hey, Portia, we're doing story time." So as I am coming into the office again, I'm new. My colleague, he's been there for I think a year or so up until this point. I'm just doing my thing, and I'm like, listen, these people gonna know my name by the time I leave up in here. And so as I just do my work and I excel, people start to notice. And our client commented one time and said, "Nana, I don't know what it is about you, but every time you share or talk about what we need to do, it just has so much confidence in it. Like, I believe you." And I was like, now that stuck with me. This was back in like 2005, 2006, but that has stuck with me 15, 16 years later, okay? That was a big deal to me. I'm like 22, and this woman is basically telling me that I have immense presence, and I didn't even know what it really was. So she said that, and I was like, oh, wow. I was, still like processing it. But I just remember, I'm sure I just said thank you. And who know, I don't remember exactly what I said in response. It was 15 years ago. But I do remember what she shared. And she, commented, she said, it's everything. She's like, you come in, you're always a source of color, you're just really energetic, you have a pleasant demeanor, and you just are really confident in your abilities. And she's like, I'm happy that you're part of the team, right? And so she said this, and she said this publicly. Like, she said this in the meeting with myself and my white male colleague and her, and I think there may have been a couple other people in there. And other people were like, yeah, so true, right? And I'm new kid on the block. I done been on the scene, I don't know, maybe a month or so at this point in time. And I was like, man, that's super dope. Like, I'm happy to be here. Like, like I said, I probably just appreciated the compliment and was like, happy to serve. Let's keep it pushing. I didn't know what my white male colleague, how he responded, how he was taking it. It was cool, but I wasn't like concerned about him and what he was doing. I was just like, oh, that was something that they said about me, right? And like, I received that, and that was awesome. So, afterwards we continue going, work on a project, etc. Then maybe a week or so later, my colleague, my white male colleague, like I said, we were about the same level. He worked for a different company, but I think he was maybe a year or so older than me, especially in terms of experience. Especially in terms of being on the project, he was like, had been there maybe a year or so prior to me. So anyway, a couple weeks after this amazing compliment from the client, I come into work and I see my colleague, and he's there seated at his desk at his cubicle. Y'all remember them cubicles? And he's got on the whole suit and tie, gray suit, tie. And I was like, Okay, what we doing? Hey, Janine. So my man has on full out, like, I think it was like a gray suit, but it was, I just remember, full suit and a tie, whole nine. And the office culture was definitely one where if you were wearing a suit, I mean, very typical. Like, you had an important meeting. There was something of importance that you were going to. You put on an entire suit, tie, like, were you going to meet with one of the generals? Like, what's happening, right? Like, amongst our team, it was very business casual on a regular basis. And so people were like, where are you going? What's up with you? And he was just like, nothing. I just, want to make sure that I'm, presenting myself well, right? He didn't have any meeting to go to. People, remember people, I think, were like teasing him because they thought he was like interviewing, like that's a thing all the time, right? It's so interesting how people perceive and make certain assumptions based simply on how you are dressing. Did you did you did you catch what I put down? So people are immediately like, "Oh, you got someplace important to go. You got to talk to somebody. Are you interviewing? What's happening with you? What's changing? What's up?" And he didn't say anything. He was like, "I'm not doing anything, y'all." He's like, "I just, want to come to work and like bring my full self." And, I'm paraphrasing, but I distinctly remember him not saying that he had any important meetings or anything like that. He was just like, I just felt like putting on a suit today. So as the like remaining days like continued, I remember homeboy was coming and it was like more suits on the scene. Definitely always had a tie on or had tried to do a blazer or jacket, and some of his colleagues were teasing him. And he was like, "Hey man, listen, I'm taking my career seriously, and he's like, I definitely want to make sure I'm looking the part." And so me being who I am, I didn't say much. I was just like, yeah, definitely see the change. Like, that's what's up. Then my brain started to go back and I was like, wait a minute, Donna. All of these shifts that he started to make in his appearance happened not too long after we were both in this client meeting together. And our mutual client was giving accolades to me about my appearance and about how much that had an impact on my presence and my confidence level and her interaction and response to me based on that. And I was like, "Now this ain't no coinky dink right here." I was like, "This is not a coincidence that homeboy is now all of a sudden rocking suits and ties because he's like, hold on. This girl has just come onto the scene for about a couple of months. I've been here for a year or so." And he was doing great work as far as I knew coming in, you know. Um, but all of a sudden people are responding to her in a different way. Like, this client is like boldly acknowledging and complimenting her for her presence and her confidence and her work contribution. Perhaps that's something that he had not experienced, right? He was noticing very distinct differences in how colleagues were interacting with me. And, we're again young consultants, working side by side. So it's natural for, maybe it was a little healthy competition, maybe it was just like a natural comparison, right? Like, this happens at work, right? Like, I mean, it's just natural that you're going to peer over and say, "Well, what you doing over there? Because I've been here and I've been putting in this work, but I haven't gotten the promotion. My boss isn't, calling me and inviting me to that senior client meeting. What's up? What's the other person doing that I'm not doing?" Right? Right. Not him. Portia said, not him investing in his looks and serving each day. Exactly. He made a switch. He noticed the impact. He heard the impact. He was there and present at that meeting with that client saying, Nana, there's something about you and your presence that is just amazing. Like you're just that source of color in the room. You are, you're noticeable. And that has been a really great addition to the team. I'd only been there, like I said, a month or so. And he'd been there for at least a year. So I'm certain that there is a correlation between him noticing and observing that interaction and then deciding, you know what? This kind of white boy frat look that I've been rocking, again, business casual. You got your khakis, you got your baby blue collared shirt, you're doing your whole J. Crew thing, you got it open at the top, you got your cuffs rolled up, you casual, everybody likes you in the office, right? But is it helping you to progress your career? Are you receiving the kind of attention, the kind of conversations, the kinds of opportunities that you really desire? Are you satisfied with the way that people are perceiving you? Are you satisfied with the kind of impression that you are making? And so clearly, he was not happy and he made a shift. And people started to notice that shift, right? And he started to take his career. It was, and that's the thing, like when you switch up your style, it is undeniably noticeable. Everybody can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody can see it. It's just like you deciding to invest in any kind of training in your field. And the only way though that people are going to know that you've been taking some additional courses or you've gotten some certification is by your work. You got to put it out there, right? That's the only way people are going to know. They're going to know by conversations, right? You have to actually take action, right? You switch up your style, you take action and you change what you wear every day, boom, instantly people are reactive. People, whether or not they say it, whether they vocalize it or it's an internal dialogue, people have a response. They have something to say. Portia said, white boyfriend. I know exactly what you meant. You forgot the blue blazer. 100%, right? We know that office dress code for most white men in the workplace, right? And that's been the standard. And then as women and then as people of color, we like try to stay within that paradigm and adjust to it. But why? Why do that? That's not your natural way of being and existing. You want to showcase your personality. You want people to see who you are and be able to respond and take all of that in, because that's what's going to make the difference. That's going to be the thing that people are like, "Oh, I love having her on the team. Yeah, it's been so great having her be a part here. Oh, and I love her style. Like it's like it's very quirky, or it's very feminine, or it's very bold, or it's very, she stays true to her culture with all of her prints. Whatever it is about your style, you want to incorporate that into your wardrobe because it's all telling a story. It's all telling a story about who you are, and it's letting people in. And people watching, they all watching. Everybody's like, tell me the story. Story time, tell me, let me see. Okay, I'm seeing it. Does the story make sense? That's really what it is when you start showing up. People are like, does the story make sense? And so, you want to do whatever you can to make sure that when people see you, when people hear you, when they get to know you, that it all makes sense. And they're like, well, of course she's like that. Of course she is a leader. You can see that through and through in the way that she presents herself. Yeah. She's an amazing team player. We can completely see how she would be very collaborative. She's so energetic and she really brings people together. Like people want to be able to have the story make sense and see the consistency in who you are, in your talents and abilities, and then in the way that you show up, right? They want those things to be on the same page. So, that's like this anecdote, like that story that I just told y'all, that was the first time when I was like, oh my gosh, how I dress matters. How you dress extremely matters. It can literally shift conversations. It can shift energy. It can shift how people perceive you. That's when I saw it live, and I was like, "This is why this matters." That was a big moment for me, and I was just like, that I always think about, just how much that played a role in people's perceptions of you, especially when you're entering a new space, right? Especially whether you've just taken a new job, you've been promoted for a new role, or even in the case of my white male colleague who, maybe felt stagnant in his role, or maybe wanted to be perceived as as a person in a leadership position but wasn't, right? Like, bottom line, you want to make some kind of change, some kind of shift in your career. You want to do that, and one of the most important things to think about is, how are you positioning yourself? How are you creating an energy and an essence and a presence about you that's like, yes, it is a no-brainer that I am the person for this job, for this role. I'm the one, right? Like, you want to be able to create that kind of presence for yourself, and that's something that you can do. And you can do that through your appearance, through your behaviors, through your communications, right? Through the way that through the way people see you, through the way people engage with you. Those are the ways that you are able to really leave more of a long lasting impression, to really make an imprint. Oh no, Portia said, did the live stop or is it just me? Well, I'm still talking, so hopefully this thing is still on. Um, but that, like I said, that was a big aha moment for me. And just understanding how you can really tell the difference between people, um, in some very like finite ways. And I say that in a way to say, like, when you are, especially when you're just entering a space and you're new, you're constantly thinking about, how am I going to make a great impression? Okay, good. Portia, you said the feed is back. Okay. You're thinking about how you want to make a good impression. You're thinking about, doing your job, doing it well. You're thinking about getting along with your colleagues, thinking about your relationship with your management. You're also thinking about, ways to get in front of other senior leaders at your company, right? Or important clientele, right? All of these things, you're doing all of this like strategic positioning when it comes to your role, and you're trying to figure out like where you can shine to really show, who you are, what you're made of, what you're capable of, right? um and how you can add value. So as you're trying to position yourself in all of this, you want to take into account all of the different ways that your image can be an asset for you, because it can be, right? You really want to think about the ways that your appearance, your behavior, your communications, because those are the ABCs of image. How your appearance, behavior, and communications can be an asset for you as you're strategically positioning yourself for career growth. And, it is like I said, it's no coincidence that my colleague said, I want to be taken more seriously. I want to have a stronger presence with my client. So I saw that they responded well to Nana with her personality coming out and with colors and prints and just how she really puts an effort into her wardrobe and how she shows up every day. Right? That's the message. She's intentional and she puts in effort, and every day she comes into the workplace and she gets noticed. That's I'm certain that that was the takeaway. That was the thing of like, and then it makes you think, am I doing that? Right? You're like, am I doing that? Like I know for a fact, everybody's got that person at your job who you're like, oh, she fly. He sharp. Right? They look good. They always come through dressed. Right? And that's just like another great element of who they are already as a person. Right? You already rock with them as a person. Right? They're a great leader, they're a great manager, they're a great collaborator, whatever it is, like they're getting amazing results for the client, for the company. So they're already on it in terms of their work. And so, of course, you see that the same level of effort and care and intention that they put into executing in their role, that translates to the way that they dress, their overall presence, and how they show up. It all makes sense. And so I want you to ask yourself, is my overall presence, is it making sense? Because if it don't make sense, it don't make dollars. Okay. For those who know me, they know I'm so corny, but I think it's funny. But that's the fact. Because I guarantee that you are not going to get the visibility you desire, the promotion, the accolades, the money that comes with all of that. It's just not going to naturally happen at the rate that you desire, because people pay attention to these intangible elements. They're taking in all of you holistically. Okay? And like I said, sometimes people share these things, like in the case of my client where she was, more forthright and vocalizing, what she thought of me in a really favorable way. But there were also other people who were like, oh yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And I was like, oh, okay. They never said nothing. Right? Or is it not you cracking yourself up? Yes, ma'am. But some of those other people, didn't say a word. But it was very apparent that they had an opinion, right? That they had an opinion. But maybe they didn't share it with me, but I'm sure they were sharing it with somebody. So you really want to ask yourself, does it make sense? Does it make sense around how I'm showing up and how I'm bringing value and executing in my role? Does it make sense? Because you can't be smashing it in your expertise, but then showing up super boring and basic. Don't go together. It really doesn't. Because people are like, it's not translating. Why are you putting so much effort and thoughtfulness into the work you do, but you don't put that same thoughtfulness for yourself? Doesn't even make sense. And quite honestly, that's not somebody I would trust. Boop, said it. Like, I really wouldn't. I'd be like, So either you believe in burnout because you're just like, I just want to work and work and work and work for the company. And yes, all my hard work will eventually pay off and somebody will notice and I will get promoted. No, you done missed it. You done missed the whole thing. Okay. You got to get strategic with this. It's not just about cranking it out like a tactical robot. That's not it. This is about people and about relationships. That's how you grow your career, your business, really anything. It's about people and the relationships. And it is about how people desire to engage with you, how they see you. And again, if that makes sense with how you want them to perceive you, that's something you have to ask yourself. Does it make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, then you know you need to make some changes, right? So my colleague was like, this ain't making sense. I want to be seen as a leader, somebody who is ready for promotion. Like that's what I desire, right? And so he said, you know what? I got to step my game up. Let me start rocking some suits. Let me start putting some ties on. People are going to notice a shift. And they did. They did. You know? Yep, all that working will leave you resentful. Like it is just it's one, it's not enough. Two, it's not practical. um but you would just get to a space where you just are so focused on just doing the work, like, well, none of that other stuff matters. I just need to perform well in my job, right? Like that's it. I just need to do a good job there. You're going to be pissed when other people around you start getting promoted and you're still stuck. You're going to be mad, and you're gonna be frustrated because you're not gonna understand why. Um, and so there are a lot of different things that you can do to start to shift the dialogue, to start to shift the picture, right? Rewrite your story, change things up. You can do that at any point in time because it's about you. It's not about anybody else. It's not about your employer. It's not about your boss. It's not about your colleagues. It is about what you want and what your goals are. So, case in point, if my colleague was not interested in furthering his career, I can tell you this: he wouldn't have gave two nickels and a dime about his outfit. He would have just kept on wearing his open button-down shirts and his khakis and some loafers and just kept it pushing like, oh, that's amazing for Nana. That's great. And he would have just been like head down and did his work and continued on. But that wasn't his goal. He was like, nah, man. She can't be the one out here getting all the accolades and stuff. People talking all good about her. I want people to see my confidence. I want them to take me seriously as well, you know? Um, and so the shift started happening, right? And he's like, okay, yeah, I gotta look the part if this is the part that I want. So that's the question. What part do you want? What part is it? You choose. People talk a lot about you want leading the what is it like? You want main character energy, right? Basically, it's like you want to be seen. You want to be in the spotlight. And that's because you have something of value to say, something of value to offer. And people need to pay attention and listen so that they can learn and they can grow from your knowledge. So when you want that main character energy, there ain't no way that you can continue to be wearing the same black top and black pants because it's easy. Boo. It's easy. Yeah. And it's going to keep you easy and overlooked and in the corner and in the back with the rest of the extras. Okay. While somebody else is out here with main character energy serving up the spotlight. So you have to assess Take an assessment of where you are with your image. If you know you want a different role, if you know you want to be a different character, because this is your story. If you want to go from being one of the extras, right? And you want to be that main character, come on, act like it, dress like it, show up like it, tell people that you want it. Don't be hiding in the back afraid. Fear ain't gonna get you nothing. Okay? And trust me, I had mad conversations with fear. All right. So I hope y'all are catching what I done put down. If you're catching what I'm putting down, let me see some hearts on the screen. Let me see some stuff up in the comments. Like I said, if you're catching this live, or if you're catching this in the replay. Portia said, did he ever get promoted? Yes, he did get promoted. He did get promoted during the time that I was there, because I was on that project for like 2 to 3 years, I think. And he did get promoted. I think he got a promotion. Like I said, I think we were both consultants or junior or whatever, and he got promoted to senior. And that's what he wanted. Like that's what he wanted. When that time came around, he was vocal. He was vocal about like wanting to get a promotion, and wanting to take on different projects. I remember there were certain projects that he wanted to, lead, and he was vocal about that, So if you want something different for yourself, or if something different is already happening for yourself, right? Because if you're already growing in your expertise and your knowledge, and people are like seeking you out actively to provide your insights, let me tell you, in case you didn't know, you're the main character. You are the leading star. You are not a supporting actor. You are the lead. Okay? And so if you are the lead, you need to act like it. You need to dress like it. You need to show up like it. And so that requires you to leave behind, I'm about to say, any of this low vibrational clothing. Y'all don't talk about. That requires you to just leave behind anything that is helping you to hide, which is typically like a lot of black. Anything that is not allowing you to showcase more of your personality, to invite in more conversations. So if you're steering away from colors, if your jewelry and accessories section in your closet is non-existent, or the same studs, small gold hoop earrings, and the same necklace you wear every day that you've been wearing every day for the past 10 years, let's change it up. It's time to change it up. It's time to change it up, because you don't want to get lost. You don't want to get lost with everybody else. If there was an entire assembly line of people, there was a line of people, you want somebody to go down the line and be like, oh, yeah. You come to the front. You come to the front. It's actually so funny. The other day, one of my clients texted me because they were doing a photo shoot at work she's in the healthcare industry. And I don't know exactly what the shoot was for, but they were doing a shoot. And so a photographer was there on set, and a matter of fact, she sent me the pictures later, and everybody was wearing, for the most part, everybody was wearing some shade of red. So, there's a lot of things that could have been associated with. But the photographer, when she went to go stand in the back. Okay. And the photographer was like, no. You need to come to the front. Like, the dress that you have on, we need this in the center. You got main character energy. You got leading star energy. But you're trying to be a supporting actor. You're trying to fade in the background. People gonna be like, oh, no, you don't belong back there. Come to the front, please. Right? No, they put her front and center. Rocking the red dress that I picked out for her. Hey, hey. Okay. So it's just one of those things. And her knowing, like, oh, yeah, we're doing a shoot today. Oh, I'm about to put this dress on, because she has a couple of different red pieces she could wear. She did a red top and some black pants. Sure, that's okay. Nope. I'm a leading character in this mug. So I'm going to put on the full out red dress, the cutout sleeves, right? Like a great pump, and I'm here. And people were like, yup. The photographer was like, no, you need to come out from the back and be right here in the center. So what kind of energy you got? What kind of energy you putting out there? That's a question you got to ask yourself. And if you ask yourself that question and you're like, okay, Nana, you all up in here with it, then I want to invite you to make some shifts. I want to invite you to release the need and the desire to play it small with your wardrobe. Release the need to continuously buy black items, to buy more of the same things you have in your closet already, to be afraid of color. Like, stop. You really want to stop traffic. So right, you want to be that person walking down the street and people are like, you're unmissable. People are like, wow, I really love it. I love the outfit. I love the shoe. I love the bag. I love the blouse. I love anything, right? Like that's just your constant, where people are constantly noticing you. It's a good feeling. Okay? And that's who you are. That's just a natural part of your energy. Okay? So if you know that is something that you need some help with, hit me up in the DMs, drop me a DM and let me know that you want to shift the energy, that you really know that having bolder style makes an impact, that it is something that you desire, that it makes sense and it aligns with the role that you have or the role that you're working towards. Okay? We showing up, we main characters. We the leads out here. All right? We ain't in the background with the extras. No shade to the extras. But that's just not who you are. Okay? So come on out. Come on out from the shadows. All right? And really get into this notion that you can dress for your body. You can rock different outfits and rock different styles that invite more conversation and more connection and more opportunity, that's fully available for you and that you are ready for it, that your body is not a problem, okay? Your mindset is not a block, that you are ready. You are ready for the confidence. You are ready to command more presence, that you are fully here. Hey, Senior, good morning. You are here. You are ready. Because people are watching. People are going to always have an opinion. But does it make sense that the opinion they form, does that make sense? Does it make sense with who you are? That's up to you. Because if you know that who you are in your personality, who you are in your work, if you know that all makes sense when people see you, you're good. You can release that fear or that nervousness or that anxiety or that worry. You ain't even sweating it, because you're like, yeah, I know how I'm showing up today, because I'm intentional. I'm clear on what my style is. I know what fits my body. I know I have great colors in my closet that'll really allow my presence to show up. I know where to shop to get pieces that are what I need. And I've got a lookbook with a bunch of images that Nana put together of stuff in my closet, some stuff we shop for, I'm ready. And I know how to put together some of these looks myself. So that's where you want to be. That's the kind of shift that we talking about. That's the kind of shift that I be putting down with my clients. Okay. And so if that's something that you desire right now, that's something you need, let's just have a conversation. Send me a DM. We'll get on the phone. We'll get on the Zoom. Who gets on a phone call anymore? Oh my gosh, so sad. But we will get on a Zoom call because I really like to see you, and I want you to see me too. And I want to exchange energy and see if we are a good fit to even potentially work together, because this is about relationships, right? And I want to definitely have a relationship with my clients where they feel like they can trust me, and and definitely lean into my expertise and knowledge to help them transform their style and show up more boldly. Exactly, Portia. It's all about the transformation. Okay. And so if that is something that you know that you need because you are tired of that background, boring, basic energy, and you want to shift to the center stage and you want to command more presence and do it as yourself, not like anybody else, just as you. Okay, then I definitely want to invite you to book a style call with me. We will talk about what your goals are, what your challenges are, and then get an understanding of where I could potentially help you to really show up with more confidence in your style. Okay, so if that is something that you're interested in, like I said, drop me a DM. You could also go to the profile section on my LinkedIn profile. Go to the features section on my LinkedIn profile, and there's a link there to book your style call with me. So if you already no, I'm ready. We need to just talk. Go ahead, girl. Book the call. Okay. So I appreciate y'all. Definitely want you to ask yourself that question. Does your style and your presence make sense? Are you showing up in a way that aligns with the role that you desire to have? Senior said, love the lipstick. What color is that? This lipstick is from MAC, and I will take a picture and DM it to you after this is over. But this is MAC. All right, y'all. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day, and I will see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Peace.